You know, what if I told you there's a silent epidemic out there, affecting 1 in every 4 people? A condition that shows almost no symptoms until things get really serious. Well, today we're diving deep into fatty liver disease. We're going to break down exactly what it is, what all the new names mean, and most importantly, what you can actually do about it.
So let's start with a story that might sound a little too familiar. This is Mayank. He's in his 30s, he's fit, he's active, and during a routine checkup, he gets this news. Now, he doesn't drink, he thinks of himself as a healthy guy, so this came as a total shock. And his question, should I be worried, is the same one millions of people are asking themselves right now.
And here's why so many people are asking. Mayank is not alone, not by a long shot. This condition, Steatotic Liver Disease, is a massive, silent epidemic. It affects nearly 1 out of every 4 people on the entire planet. Think about that. A quarter of the world's population walking around with this, and most of them have absolutely no idea. All right, so let's get into it. What exactly is this condition, and why do we keep calling it silent? Well, the simple reason is that in the early stages, you feel nothing. There are often no symptoms at all.
At its core, steatotic liver disease, or SLD, is pretty straightforward. It just means more than 5% of your liver cells are bogged down with excess fat. And for the longest time, the conversation was all about what it wasn't. It was happening to people who didn't drink a lot of alcohol. And that distinction, that focus on the negative, is what's led to a huge and really important change in how we talk about it.
Now, if you've been trying to keep up with this, you might have seen a bunch of new names and acronyms floating around, and it can be kind of confusing. So let's clear that up right now, because the new terminology actually tells us everything we need to know about what's really going on.
Okay, so we used to call it NAFLD, non-alcoholic fatty liver disease. See, it just tells you what's not causing the problem. The new term is MASLD, and that M at the beginning changes everything. It stands for Metabolic Dysfunction. And that, right there, is the whole point. It shifts the focus from the absence of alcohol to the presence of an underlying metabolic issue.
And it's the exact same story for the more serious version of the disease, the one with inflammation. It used to be NASH, now it's MASH. Again, that M for metabolic dysfunction is right there at the front. This is when things get serious. Your liver isn't just storing fat anymore. It's actively inflamed, it's getting damaged, and that damage is tied directly to the health of your entire metabolic system. So the bottom line is, this isn't some new mystery illness. It's just a much, much smarter name. It gets rid of the stigma of defining it by alcohol, and instead it points all of us, doctors and patients, directly at the real problem we need to fix: metabolic dysfunction.
Okay, so if we know the root cause is metabolic dysfunction, you're probably asking 2 things. Am I at risk? And how on earth do you even find out what's happening inside my liver without doing something invasive? Well, that new name, MASLD, gives us the roadmap. The risk is all tied up in a handful of what we call cardiometabolic risk factors. You can think of them as little clues that your body's metabolic engine is, well, a little out of whack. And these aren't vague ideas. They're specific, measurable things. We're talking about your body mass index, your waist circumference, your blood pressure, and exact numbers for your blood sugar and cholesterol. But here's what's really important to know. You don't have to check all these boxes. If an ultrasound finds fat on your liver and you have just one of these other risk factors, that's it. That's a MASLD diagnosis.
So how do we find that fat in the first place? I mean, in the old days, you might have needed a liver biopsy, and nobody wants that. Thankfully, technology is way better now. The source material had a perfect way of putting this. Think of a FibroScan as a liver ultrasound 2.0. It's quick, it's totally painless, and it gives you 2 absolutely critical pieces of information.
Okay, so here's the simple breakdown of what it tells you. You get 2 main scores. The first one measures stiffness, which is just a stand-in for scarring, or what doctors call fibrosis. Basically, the higher that number, the more you need to pay attention. The second number is the CAP score, and that one's easy. It directly measures the amount of fat. You put those 2 numbers together, and in just a few minutes, your doctor has a really clear picture of your liver's health.
All right, getting a diagnosis like this can feel scary. I get it. But here is the single most important message I want you to hear today. This condition is often reversible. This is not a life sentence. So let's talk about the action plan, because this is the part where you get to take back control.
The number 1, hands down, most powerful treatment is lifestyle change, specifically weight loss. And you don't need to do anything drastic. Just look at this. Losing as little as 5% of your body weight can start to reduce the fat in your liver. Hit that 7 to 10% goal, and you can actually cool down that dangerous inflammation. And for those who can get to 10% or more, you can start to reverse the actual scarring. That is incredible.
Okay, now for some surprising and for many of us, very good news. You coffee drinkers out there, listen up. Study after study shows that 2 to 3 cups of plain, unsweetened coffee a day seems to have some amazing benefits for the liver. We're talking reduced fat, a lower risk of fibrosis, and even better liver enzyme numbers. Now, it's not a magic bullet, but it really seems to have a protective effect.
For years, there just weren't any approved medications for this, but that has literally just changed. A drug called resmetirom recently got the green light from the FDA. Now, it's super important to know exactly who this is for. It's for patients who have MASH, that's the inflammatory stage, and who are already showing moderate to advanced scarring. So it's not for early stages, but for people in that specific, serious window, it is a huge step forward.
Now, I have to pause here for a serious word of caution. It can be really tempting to see supplements or herbal products marketed as a liver detox and think they'll help, but please be careful. Natural does not always mean safe. This quote from our source material is chilling. During the pandemic, doctors saw many patients who ended up needing liver transplants because of liver damage caused by an herb called giloy. The lesson is simple. Always talk to your doctor before taking any supplement.
And here's maybe the most worrying part of this whole story. This isn't just an adult problem anymore. In a really alarming trend, we are seeing this kind of metabolic dysfunction and fatty liver disease show up in kids. But the good news is, there is a clear and effective game plan for families to fight back. The Indian Academy of Pediatrics recommends this simple, memorable rule: 5-2-1-0. It's so easy to remember. 5 servings of fruits and veggies a day, 2 hours or less of recreational screen time, 1 hour of physical activity, and 0. This is the big one: 0 sugary drinks. It's a practical, powerful guide for parents to build healthy habits that last a lifetime.
And the message here is really one of hope. With the whole family getting on board and making these kinds of lifestyle changes, early liver damage in children isn't just preventable, it's reversible. You can protect their health for the long run.
So, as we wrap this up, I want to come back to that core idea. Hearing the words fatty liver isn't just about one organ. You have to think of it like the check engine light on your car's dashboard. It's a clear warning sign from your entire metabolic system that something is out of balance. So let's bring it all home. What have we learned? 1. The name is changed to MASLD because this is all about metabolic health. 2. Diagnosis is simpler and painless now with tools like FibroScan. 3. A modest 5 to 10% weight loss is the most powerful medicine we have. And 4, and this is the most hopeful part, if you act early, you can reverse the damage.
And I want to leave you with this final crucial thought. Please, don't ever dismiss this as just fatty liver. That is only the tip of the iceberg. What could be lurking underneath is serious inflammation, permanent scarring like cirrhosis, or even liver cancer. Taking this seriously, getting an early evaluation, that doesn't just improve your health, it can literally save your life.